back, guys. I just wanted to get the calves fed so they're not messing with me really while I'm on the camera. I don't know if you can see that tannish brown one. He used to feed normally, and now he starts eating, and then after about 3 minutes of eating, he starts sucking on nothing, and he quits eating grain. So he's been doing that for 2 weeks. I don't know what his problem is, but probably what you're hearing. He's not choking on anything. He's just trying to suck on things. Anyway, so this is the Q&A video that you guys have been asking about. The reason why I'm doing a Q&A is because a lot of people comment and ask questions, and a lot of times I can't answer them how I would like to just over the comments, and it just takes a long time. So I gave you guys the opportunity. If you wanted to ask some questions, you could in the, I guess, 2 videos ago. And I think there was 40 some comments, and I will try to answer as many of them as I can. I know some of them were kind of doubled up, so I will do my best. But before we get into the Q&A, just wanted to let you guys know, yes, I'm wearing a coat. It is 40 degrees right now. We had our first frost 2 days ago, so some things will start dying out here, vegetation wise, and we've also got 3 inches of rain in the last couple days, so pretty wet and cold. Calves are adjusting well. Some of them are already putting on their winter hair coat, which is fine. Some of the heifers I'm really starting to be impressed with. There's some that I really like the look of. They look more like straight beef calves than crosses. So anyway, that's enough on the calves. Now to your questions. So first question in the comments was, what are you studying? And I know there was another one that was, what school do you go to? Well, to answer all of those, I'm going to Missouri State University. That's kind of the closest college to me, and so I'm going to Missouri State. This is my senior year, and I'm getting an animal science degree. What I want to do with that, I'm not really sure. I want to farm full time, but as many of you know, that's a pretty difficult thing right now for most people, and so but that's the ultimate goal eventually. And another question was, what is your dream job? Obviously that would be my dream job. Being able to farm full time and not have to worry about a day job. And I know one thing I would hate, working in a cubicle. I don't want any office work. It's just something I've never liked. Probably one reason why I don't like the classroom. I just can't stand sitting there, and I don't know. I just like being with animals a lot more than messing with people business-wise. I'd rather just, yeah, a lot less to deal with animals. You know what they want, they tell you what they want. That's about it. People are a lot more confusing. So one question is, how many acres do you farm? Well, just these calves, I have them on a total of about 40 acres since they were little till now. They've been rotating between about 40, and I mean, my parents' stuff, that's a whole nother ball game. There's a lot more than 40. So I'm using my dad's place, if you guys don't know. He's let me use, 40 some acres, and that's what I'm using now. And one question is, back to the bottle calves, do you offer calves water when they're still on milk replacer? Just notice at the videos, I never see them with any access to water in the pens, and here in Ireland, that would be the most important part. Keep the videos coming, really interesting to see how your farm works. So first of all, a viewer from Ireland, that's neat. First of all, yes, they always have access to water. The reason why you probably don't see water in most of them is when I'm filming, I feed them milk, I feed them grain, then I normally shut the camera off and I do all the cleaning, and then I add their water back in. Calves on the bottle, they always have a bottle hanging in there with water, or they have a bucket with water. Any of the bucket calves, after we're done with milk, I clean out all the pails, fill them all up with water, put them back in the pen. And all the ones on the milk bar, I always add a bucket of water, as well as after I clean out the milk bar, I'll add some more water for them to drink out of that. So yes, they always have access to water. If you don't give baby calves water, their odds of survival are not as good. Let's see, what tractors do you have? We just have one tractor. It's the John Deere you've seen in other videos. I think it's a 6115, something like that. Obviously it's not mine, it's my dad's, but I use it occasionally and whenever I'm helping him out. So he used to have an old International. I think it was a 70s or late 70s or early 80s International, and that one he ended up getting rid of it. It was just causing too many problems. So calves coughing up some grain. I'm hoping they weren't coughing yesterday. So anyway, so that's the only tractor we have, obviously. And someone asked EPDs question mark. So I think in that video I mentioned EPDs. If you don't know what EPDs are, I think it stands for expected progeny difference. But basically, if you're looking at any registered stock of any kind, if you're buying bulls, even registered cows, they have papers on them, which are EPDs, and they have like milk EPDs, calving ease, direct, birth weight, weaning weight, marbling. They just have a ton of stuff. Maternity, oh, what is it? Anyway, they have a ton of these numbers, and everyone means a different thing. So if you're looking for a heifer bull or a bull to put on heifers, you want small calves, so you'd be looking at calving ease direct, and you'd be looking at birth weight. If you're wanting to keep back heifers out of this bull you're going to breed to your cows, if you want to increase your milk production, you'd look for a bull with a high milk EPD. Just things like that, so it's easier to narrow down what you're actually getting in a bull or a cow. You can kind of direct your breeding program based off of those. So that's just kind of what EPDs are. You can find a much better explanation somewhere else, I'm sure. But if you're just doing commercial and you're wanting registered bulls, that's what we're doing, and you can learn a lot of information about a bull just by studying his EPDs. So, do you plan on doing a bit of dairy on your property? Well, for all of you that don't know, our property, well, my parents' property, used to be a dairy farm. They actually bought it when a dairy farmer, he went bankrupt. He built a silo, built all this fancy stuff, and then he couldn't make ends meet. So he had to sell out, and you know, that's a common story with a lot of people around here. The dairy went out of business, and they ended up going into beef cattle. So but the dairy industry, honestly, if it was doing well, I would probably end up being a dairy farmer. As I mentioned before, I hate being inside all the time, and I like animals, especially cows. I got cows messing with my camera, so hey. So you know, my uncle's got a dairy. I think dairy farming would be something I'd enjoy if there was a possibility to make money. Obviously, I'd be more grass-based dairy. I wouldn't like the whole, I don't know, I'd rather have cows out on grass. That's what they like. That's where they're meant to be. So but yes, I think I would be a dairy farmer if there was a possibility to still make a living, and if it wasn't such a threatened industry. So, do your cows have a barn to sleep in at night, or do they stay in the field all day? All of our cows, they do not go in a barn. They never have access to a barn except for these when they were bottle calves. Yes, cows also like going in a barn. They also like laying in mud, but sometimes it's not the best for them. So if you have cows going to a barn, any concentrated animals in a small area, you're going to have a lot more chance for spreading disease, them getting sick. Not to mention you'll have to clean out the barns. And here in Missouri, the weather's not that bad. They can stay out here year-round and be fine. So we've never lost a cow to the cold or blizzard or anything like that, just because our weather's not that bad and most cows can handle it. So now if you put a Brahma cow out here, she may suffer a little bit because they don't have the tolerance for cold like Angus or Hereford or anything like that. So seems like your head is screwed on right. Question: will you show us the process with the butchering of the cows? It would be educational. Yes, I plan on showing what I can of butchering. As you know, YouTube has some issues with not just ag stuff, but farming and any killing of anything, which I kind of understand. So I will not be showing the killing. I will probably describe how we do it, what we're gonna do. I'm also pretty sure they don't allow you to show gutting an animal, which that's fine. But that also brings up another point. I don't know what other place I could post things like that if you guys want to learn how to gut an animal. Anyway, I've heard that Patreon, you know, you can kind of post more of what you'd like to and what your viewers to see, because you're not posting ads or anything like that. So that may be something I try to do if you guys want to see the whole butchering process. Who knows, they may have rules that I don't know about, but yeah, that's where we're at on butchering. I will show what I can without being kicked off YouTube or getting a strike. What weight do you usually buy steers? This one someone else has already answered for me, but I will answer it anyway. We don't buy steers ever here. My dad has a cow-calf operation, and you know, this bottle calf thing is just me. So all of these calves here I raised on the bottle, and hey, getting eaten alive here. All these calves are raised on the bottle, all the steers. We don't buy any steers off the property. It's just, you know, that's not something we're into. This person asked, what grain do you feed your calves and heifers? What can I feed my calves to ensure maximum dairy production in the future? That would be a question for a dairy farmer. I'm not a dairy farmer. I don't know how to help your dairy production. Plus, it looks like you are from Kenya, so I definitely do not know how to answer you. But for my calves, they get a calf feed. Sorry, they're all messing with stuff on the four-wheeler here. They get a calf ration. It's just 16% protein. You don't want to go below 12 for little calves. And after they get, I don't know, 4 or 5 months old, then you can decrease your protein and all that and get down to, these are on an 8% now, 8 and 9%, which is pretty low, but I'm not feeding them much. So these are mostly on grass, as you guys have seen. So how much does it cost to feed a cow per year? Well, that all depends on how much pasture you are utilizing. You know, if you're feeding like most people around here, you can probably keep a cow and raise their calf for $300-400 bucks a year, pretty easy. I don't know if you guys have heard of Greg Judy, some guy I've known for a long time. He raises his like 90% on grass and only feeds hay when it's really cold or the ground's frozen. So he can probably raise a cow for less than 100. He can probably keep a cow for less than 100 bucks a year, no problem. But it all depends on what you're going to be feeding. If you're feeding grain, it could be $600 a year. So this person asked if I could explain the process of butchering or purchasing and selling. Additionally, break down your expenses and profit if you don't mind. That's a bigger video for a different time, but I will say this. With these guys, I can hopefully profit at a minimum $200 a piece. You know, with Holsteins, you're looking at a smaller margin, profit margin. You'd have to have a lot more of them to make money. One reason is they don't do as well just on grass. They don't put on as much weight just on grass. And you got to dump a lot more feed to them for them to grow. These, because they're half Angus and they're from Holstein cows that are selected for being on grass mostly, they grow a lot more on grass than Holsteins do. I feed them way less grain. I feed these 40 calves the same amount of grain I was feeding 14 Holstein steers. The less grain you feed, the more money you're going to make. And so that's why I'm kind of steering away from Holsteins. You know, if I do custom raising eventually later, that's another thing. But you can make money on Holsteins. You just may be making $100 or less per calf, or breaking even, or even losing money. These are just kind of a safer bet for me, around here at least. Okay, so now for everyone that asks questions on Instagram. For those of you that don't know, my Instagram is linked down in the description. You can ask me things on there, direct message me, and I will normally get back to you. If you want to have a longer conversation than just in the comments, that would be where to do it. One question is, are you going to get goats? I know that's something I talked about before. Goats is something I really enjoy raising. For those of you that don't know, I raised goats in, well, let's see. Started in 5th grade and went till 8th grade. So I raised goats for a couple of years and I really enjoyed it, even though I was not very good at it. I had some issues with worms, as a lot of people do, and that was because I didn't have a place to rotate them. If you can rotate them and keep them from eating the lower 3 inches of forage, you're going to be a lot better off. So meat goats is something I'm really interested in. That's something I want to get into, as well as sheep. You know, small ruminants in general. That's something I want to really get into. you know, running behind cows, things like that. So yes, I plan on getting goats. It may be next, or maybe this spring, or it may be next fall. I was hoping to get some this past fall. It didn't really pan out. So what do you use to edit your videos? I use Premiere Pro, but lately my laptop's been acting up, and so I've been using Windows Movie Maker, that's what it is. That's a free program anyone can use. Pretty simple, not hard at all. So those are the two I use. I used to use Premiere all the time, and my laptop's been so slow and messed up. I'm probably gonna have to get a new one here and start redoing all that. But so guys, as I mentioned, if you guys want to have deeper conversations about something, check out my Instagram below, send me a direct message, and I will be sure to check those out. I don't always get to them right away. Sometimes it takes me a couple weeks because I get a lot of them, but I will definitely try to answer you back and get back with you. So anyway, if you guys have any more questions, if you want to do another Q&A, be sure to leave that comment down below, and if there's enough of them, I will film a second one later on. But yeah, I hope I answered some of your questions that I never really got to, and the ones you guys really wanted answered. I did get my microphone fixed, so that is why there's better audio in this video. Anyway, a lot of things going on. I know this one wasn't my normal weekly upload, but I will have another one here next week, and I'll also be posting some during the middle of the week, just smaller little clips, not necessarily about farming. So also I want to say thank you for hitting 10,000 subs. I think I'm up to 11,000 now. So that was one of my goals this year. If you guys remember that video, I wanted to hit 10,000 subs, and we did it in September. So anyway, I can't say thank you enough. That's what that was one of my goals, and it's been one of my goals for a long time. So thank you for making it possible. Thank you for watching, and with that being said, I will see you guys next time.